Here is the answer to last video's challenge question. At the end of last video, I gave you this challenge question where I asked you to find the mate in 2. I also hinted that it would be an Anastasia's checkmate. Anastasia's checkmate always starts with a sacrifice on h7 or h2. And in this position, we can clearly sacrifice by playing queen takes h7 check. Obviously, black has to take back. Now, after the sacrifice on h7 or h2, there's always a rook or a queen that comes right after to deliver checkmate. What makes Anastasia's checkmate so unique is because of the knight on e7 or e2 that covers the important escape squares g6 and g8, or vice versa on the other side. In this video, I will be showing you about when to trade. And as always, I will be giving you an end of video challenge question. I can think of 3 main reasons why you would want to trade. Number 1, if you have a clear material advantage or just like a positional advantage. If you have an advantage, it is a good idea to trade so the position becomes simplified and therefore becomes easier to win. Number 2, if you have an attack but your opponent has many pieces that are defending your opponent's king, then it is a good idea to trade off some of the defenders. And number 3, if your opponent is the one who has a crushing attack on you, it's always a good idea to trade off some of the attackers, therefore relieving the pressure. Now have a look at this position. If you count the material, we're actually up a dark squared bishop. So it would be a good idea to trade in this position as we have a definite material advantage. Now we can start off by playing bishop takes g6 check. And black's best move is obviously to take back, or else he just loses massive amounts of material. Then we can take again, forcing the king to take back. Now we can take the rook on e8. And after he takes back with the rook, well, I'm assuming he's going to take back with the rook, because if you take back with the knight, it's really passive, and a move like knight to e4 would be really good because it restricts the mobility of the knight. Okay, so after rook takes, finally we can trade off the knight here. Now have a look at this position compared to the start. It seems a lot simpler, and it obviously is, and it obviously is a lot easier to win now, because you don't have to constantly worry about tactics that may result in losing material. Now I will be showing you a position where you should trade when you have an attack, but your opponent has a lot of defending pieces. As I said, the second reason of why you would want to trade is if you have an attack, but your opponent has pieces that are defending his king. Now have a look in this position. We have pawns on g4 and g5 that are already ready to advance, and we have rooks on g1 and h1. We also have the queen prepared to come in. But black has knights here on d7 that is protecting the knight on f6 that is doing a great job of defending the king, defending key squares such as h5 and g4, and also protecting the h7 pawn. Black's bishop here on g7 is also contributing to the defense because it controls h6 in case our queen ever wants to come in. So, if only we can remove those pieces. Wouldn't it be great? Well, actually, we can with knight takes f6 check. Now, black can obviously take back with the knight, but he can also take back with the bishop, setting up a trap. Can you see why we can't take the knight here on d7? Pause the video if you have to. If you're back, you probably realize that if we do indeed take the knight on d7, then black actually has either rook to d8 and our queen is trapped. So, going back to this position, bishop takes f6 is a much better move. Now, black obviously has to take back, and after a move like queen to g5 or queen to h6, our attack is going strong, and black does not have as much defense as he had before, making it a lot easier for us to trample to to destroy his shelter and win a lot of material. Now I will be giving you an example of trading when your opponent has a strong attack on you. The third reason of why you would want to trade is, like I said, if your opponent has a crushing attack on you and you feel like the pressure is too much to handle. Now have a look at this position. Black's pieces are all in position for striking. Have a look on his bishop on g7. Even that bishop is eyeing our b2 pawn. His knight on d6 is getting ready for a potential knight c4 and working with the queen to attack b2. This knight is backing up the knight on d6. His two rooks are trying to control the a file, and his queen is eyeing the b2 pawn and potentially the f2 pawn. Now, obviously, this is hard to resist, so the best move right now would be to trade off pieces. Now, you're usually trying to trade the pieces that are doing the most damage to your position. So in this position, this knight's doing a lot, this queen's doing a lot, and this rook's doing an okay amount. So let's trade off the knight. Now obviously black has to take back. Now we can take back again with the bishop. And after he plays queen takes, we can have a trade on a6. Now let's say that black does not want to take back with the pawn and give up the a file permanently, and thus plays rook takes a6. Then we can take back, and after queen takes, we can see that black's attack has turned from all his pieces being involved to all his pieces being traded off, and there's nothing more that he can do. Now, I want you to see the difference between this position and this position. If you are white, you would definitely feel a lot more relieved after the trades. Now I will be giving you the end of video challenge question, which as always will be resolved in the next video. Here is the end of video challenge question. Have a look in this position. We are down 22 points, and things aren't looking good. But what if I told you that white had a mate in 1? I want you to find the mate in 1 and leave it in the comment sections down below. As always, I will be telling you the answer in the next video. That's it for today, and thank you for your time. If you enjoyed the content, please consider to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.